Before we get into the latest Cowboys training camp updates, including more injury stuff, the most comments on today's show gets a shout out and an entry into our George Pickens jersey raffle. Last one was David Haynes at 71. Who can beat him on today's show? We do have an update for you on the Mazi Smith situation. He left practice early today, as I'm sure many of you saw. Did not return, did not look comfortable walking off the field. Reportedly is a sore knee, according to Clarence Hill. Why is it sore? Well, don't know yet. He did appear to be in some pain. He didn't look comfortable walking off that field and walking out of the tent and up to the locker room. Didn't look like it was fine. It seemed like Tyler Smith looked fine walking off the field. Mazi did not. At this point in his career, any missed time is not good for Mazi Smith. He needs reps. He needs experience. He needs to change what he's able to do. He needs to be a part of this team. Missing games, I don't know if we're there yet, but missing games would be extremely concerning for Mazi Smith and for the Cowboys. He was better last year, at least in some games. Didn't always feel like it, but the pressure rate went down, but especially in the back half of the year, give or take, or even after the first couple games, he looked like he was better. This year, he's dropped some weight. He's going to play 3 technique and 1 technique, allegedly, for the Cowboys. The biggest reason why this matters for Dallas, I know some of you guys don't like Mazi Smith. I get it. He has not lived up to first-round pick expectations at all. You don't have the bodies in your defensive tackle room to survive. You don't have Mazi. You're trotting out Osa Odigizua. There's been some buzz of Solomon Thomas playing one technique. The guy was 260 pounds last year. He's not a real one-technique option. He can do it in spurts, maybe, if you're lucky. Jay Toia, I like him as a big body, but he was a 7th-round pick. We should have proper expectations there. Harrison Winfrey's done some solid stuff so far, but that was a UFL player. Denzel Daxon will be on the practice squad. Has anyone seen a clip of Tommy Akinbasute yet? Anyone? I've been pretty quiet. I thought, and I think most of us agreed, you already needed another defensive tackle. If you were to lose Mazi Smith for even a month, boy, do you need 2? So be honest with me. What is your concern level over the defensive tackle room? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comment section of today's show. More injury updates. Tyler Smith, I didn't see him out there in team drills, but he was back in pads, so the knee tendonitis, whatever, seems like we're on a good path on that front. Not overly concerned, although I do want to build more chemistry between him and Cooper Beebe at least, although no Guyton, so it's already down 1 there. Brian Schottenheimer said at his press conference today that Wanye Thomas would be another week or so coming back from his lower body injury. So, maybe before preseason week 2 he gets back out there a little bit. Unfortunate for Wanye. We'll see when guys like Deuce Vaughn are back too, still to be determined. Mazi was actually not the first injury today. Christian Matthew, the newest corner, left practice early. He was further down the depth chart, obviously, but boy, it's another injury for a Cowboys camp that has just been chock full of them. Even if there are 1 to 2 week injuries, that adds up a lot. That's why you've seen some roster shuffling from this Cowboys team as of late. Now, Cowboys jerseys are available, limited time only, for 20% off with code CLASS over on Fanatics. Not every single jersey is on sale, not every style, but pretty much all the players have at least one of them available on sale, 20% off. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. That's chatsports.com/DAL jersey. Chatsports.com/DAL jersey. I wanted to spend a good portion of today's show on, there's one every year. Every year there's this wide receiver who impresses that we can't stand the thought of cutting. This year, it is clearly Trey Sean Holden, the rookie undrafted free agent out of Oregon. He has been very impressive. He has emerged after back-to-back, it feels like, days of training camp, consistently making plays with Joe Milton, making plays on the sideline. He has been flashing. He has become this year's pet cat. And I mean that, to be clear, in a positive sense. I hope Trey Sean Holden continues to make plays. I want the guys further down my depth chart to make it hard for me to cut them. Give me those champagne problems of, shoot, who do I have as my wide receiver 6? Who ends up making the team? I don't think Holden is guaranteed a roster spot. I don't think you can say that about any undrafted free agent on August 4th with 0 preseason games done. there's a lot that he can still show, that he can still do to improve his stock. Or he cools off and we all feel good about putting him on the practice squad. Holden was a UDFA out of Oregon this past season. 718 yards, 5 touchdowns as one of the big 3 for the Oregon Ducks in the wide receiving core after not really doing a lot early in his career in Alabama at Oregon. I don't think, though, that he is guaranteed a roster spot. That's not to say he hasn't made it a conversation. He absolutely has. So, does Traeshon Holden make the Cowboys roster this year? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comments section of today's show. I think the training camp stuff has given Traeshon Holden a real chance. The stuff that might hold him back from making the 53. Number one, the sheer competition that exists right now at wide receiver. And there is at least a little bit of it. CeeDee Lamb is obviously going to make this team. George Pickens is going to make the team. Jalen Tolbert, I know not everyone likes him. He's going to make the team because Kevontae Turpin is going to make it. He might be receiver 3/RB3. We'll see what the rotation looks like there, but he's going to make it. Jonathan Mingo's going to make it. Well, Mingo doesn't only play special teams. Jalen Tolbert does. And that back of the roster spot does matter for special teams. It's not often you carry wide receiver 5/6 who doesn't help on special teams. They did it last year with Ryan Flanoy to an extent, but he was a draft pick. Tolbert's going to help you on special teams. Those are your top 5 wide receivers. That 6th spot could be a special teamer, or it could be someone who they just think is too good. And to me, that comes down to Holden versus Flanoy. I don't really need to make room for Jalen Brooks. He can get to your practice squad. I think Traeshon Holden can as well, by the way, which we'll come back to. But another element that I don't think anyone else is really bringing up, how good are the corners that Traeshon Holden's going against? Holden has worked pretty much with the 2s and the 3s with, Milton and Greer rotating in there. But, the other corners the Cowboys have down the depth chart are not good. They're just not. It's like Bruce Harmon. It's not a good cornerback room. They are so banged up out there right now that Troy Pride, as we'll discuss, is getting first-team reps. Kamon Hall will make some plays, but Robert Rochelle and Bruce Harmon, it is not a who's who of backup secondary pieces. He kind of should be having some success. I will also mention this, and this is why I am not as doom and gloom of he'll never make the practice squad. 98% of the time they actually do. There's the exceptions, Julius Wood, for example, but they normally do. But Traeshon Holden had $3 million in guaranteed money. That is the price tag of somebody who, you know what? In reality, they didn't have that much love post-draft. And that's the type of guy at a deep spot-like receiver across the NFL where you actually are able to get them down to the practice squad. But he might ball out in the preseason. And if you ball out in the preseason, it does make things a little bit harder to actually get down to the practice squad. So we will watch the preseason with great interest. We will be live for every single Cowboys preseason game. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Couple more minor training camp notes I'm not going to overreact to, but do want to mention. CJ Goodwin got some reps today with wide receiver. If you've been subscribed, this is not the first time we've mentioned that, actually. Shout out Joe Hoyt, who spotted it at minicamp, where Goodwin, who originally was a wide receiver in college, not many people know that, I think essentially just getting reps at wide receiver because he'll be on the game day active roster. So break glass case of emergency. Oh my God, we lost 4 receivers. Who goes to play there? Goodwin. He's not going to actually play real receiver reps. That's not the goal at all, especially at his age. But it's just emergency cross training. Number 2, Troy Pride getting some starter reps for the Dallas Cowboys. This comes in the Deron Bland moves inside to nickel corner package. And can you go get Stephon Gilmore, please, and thank you? Look, you've got, right now, Kaiir Elam is one starter. Deron Bland is another. Who is your second one? Andrew Booth is banged up right now. He should be back soon, but he's out there. Izzy Mukwamu is one. Troy Pride and Kamon Hall. Izzy kind of doing everything, Kamon Hall being a nickel, and Troy Pride being an outside guy. Yeah, I don't like this cornerback room. Kamon Hall's been getting a lot of nickel reps right now over Israel Mukwamu, by the way, which I do think is worth mentioning here as well. Go get Stephon Gilmore if Deron Bland is down to play nickel. One more player who's been flashing. How about James Houston? It's tough to make the roster with the depth at defensive end right now, but this is the exact environment in which he does well. Pass rush reps. He's good at them. Like, he's very talented. He's missed some time with injury. He was good at Jackson State with it. Can he beat out Peyton Turner? If he does, maybe he's got a chance to actually make the Cowboys 53-man roster.